actually just going to jump in because it's going to be saved anyway on the on my page. So why am I doing this? Great question. Basically, I just feel like too many of my friends, too many people that I see out there hit their 30s, hit their 40s, and just totally feel like they've missed the bus on how to be fit and how to be healthy. And it's something that I have a lot of passion about, and I do a lot of research. I'm kind of one of those people that'll go down rabbit holes and study everything there is to study about sleep patterns and how you should eat and how you should recover. And I figured, man, why not share some of that with my friends? So that's the only intent here, is just get some of this information out there. And by no means is this, 100% right. It's just what I've worked with over the years and had some success with. So personally, I've cared about my fitness. I've worked out, since I've been 14. So that's a long time. I'm getting ready to turn 43. So a lot of years of lessons learned and what not to do and what to do and what works. So my plan is to share that. So I'm going to jump into it. Basically, I broke this down into 4 major areas that I focus my time and then thought about those 4 things and how they build on each other. So I don't know if you guys will be able to see this or not, but basically what you see there is a pyramid with time management being the first most important piece that you got to be good at and put some thought into. And I'm going to go through today and explain how I do that, how I make sure that I get workouts in and I make sure that I eat right and sleep right and recover. And it's extremely important in my book. So that's the basis, is that it's up to you. You're the one that has to make it happen in your time. And so I put that at the bottom and most important part. The other 3, I'm going to do 3 more of these sessions on. And so I'll dive in kind of deep on those and show you guys the research that I've done. I also made each one of these kind of sized by the importance that I think you have to put into it. Down regulation is a fancy word for saying you're going to get quality sleep. You're going to recover better. I do yoga, I do meditation. And so your stress levels. So I'm going to do a whole session on what that means to me and how I approach recovery and down regulation. I think you guys might find some of that interesting. And my plan is for each one of these, in the comments when we're done, is I'll post links to the research that I follow and study, things like blogs that I follow, YouTube channels that I follow, basically all the things that I go out there and study, and it'll be like a shortcut for you guys. So that's really the intent of it. So once you've got that set, next comes diet. And I made diet the biggest on there because really, I've heard it said 70% in the kitchen, 30% in the gym. I think that's totally true. So I think how you eat, when you eat, those kind of things, extremely important as you get older. Again, I'm kind of focusing this on over 40, but way more important than it used to be when we were trying to be fit in our 20s. And then finally at the top is your fitness and what you're doing to actually stay active and healthy. And my spin on that is have as much variety as you can, do as many things as you can to make it fun. So I'll kind of go through that in a different session on what I do for fitness and how I learn about it, local resources you guys can go check out, that kind of thing. So anyway, today's time I'll just spend kind of going through the time management piece. And then, like I said, I'll do some different sessions on the other ones. So time management, Nikki would laugh at me about this, but I'm a big believer in you have to be somewhat selfish. You got to make yourself a priority. And she's laughing. It's really, it's hard for a lot of people because they'll say, hey, I have to take my kids here or there, and I have this stuff going on with my job. And that's all super important and necessary, as we know. But I'm a believer in, if you if you aren't mentally healthy, if you aren't doing the things you want and you're not physically healthy, then those other things are going to suffer in the long term. So just saying I'm going to make my health and my fitness, how I eat, when I train, saying to yourself, I'm going to make that a priority and make sure it happens is the first step that I think a lot of people miss. I think they say to themselves, I didn't find the time to train today. I didn't find the time to eat right today. I didn't find the time to do some meditation today. And in reality, you're just never going to find the time. We've got a lot of stuff in our lives that tries to take our time. So my approach to that is very structured. And you have to make the time to do that. You have to make a plan each day, make sure it's going to happen. So how do I do that? First of all, and I've laughed at myself about this a lot of times, and I explain it to people. It's a funny way to do it, but no matter how early I have to get up, no matter what I have going on that day, I back into the fact that I'm going to give myself time in the morning to wake up and start my day the way I want to start my day. I think it's extremely important. So just a quick note on that. I used to be the person that would wake up and start my day in bed with my email and figure out how I was going to approach my day based on what emails I had. And it's not the right way to do it, because those emails are other people's problems. Those are things that they're putting in your inbox that they want you to do. So totally somebody else's priorities for the day, not yours. So now I back into, if I have go to the airport or early morning or whatever, I'll back into starting my day with a cup of coffee and at least 5 minutes of putting a plan together of what I'm going to do for my meals. Well, think about how am I going to eat today? When am I going to do meditation, which is usually right then in the morning? When am I going to do some yoga or mobilizing, and when I'm going to train? And if I have those things figured out before I start my day, then I will make everything else revolve around my day, around that workout schedule and down regulation side of things. So how do I do that? So I start with basically 10 minutes of meditation. I'm going to do a whole session later on this down regulation side, and meditation is a big part of that. There's a method that I like. There's an app I like. I'll share all that with you guys. The method called box breathing. I do it a lot, but it's breathing exercise to try to get yourself to focus and also work on breath work, which is super healthy. So that's about 10 minutes. Every day, without exception, I get a healthy breakfast in. And people laugh at me about this all the time when I travel for business, or if I'm at home, and I just won't go do whatever needs to be done until I make a healthy breakfast. But I'm a big believer in that's what sets your whole day. And so if you don't do that, you're already starting on the wrong foot. What else? Yeah, so mainly just getting your plan for the day, doing some meditation, and making sure you get that healthy meal in the morning. The other part of the plan, I'll start thinking about midday. What am I doing midday? And a lot of times this is a lunchtime. Like for me, if I'm traveling, it means that I've stepped out of the meetings. I've gone off by myself somewhere that I can, relax. Or if I'm here in the home office, if I'm not traveling, it's working through in my bedroom, and it's 20 minutes of basically yoga. So I'll share this with you guys too. I use the Ramwad app, Ramwad website. I'm a big fan of it. I love it. It's 20 minutes. It's super easy to just get 20 minutes in to work on your mobility and work on your overall health of your joints, and allows you to train a lot harder. So making that a priority is a big deal for me. It's helped me a lot in the last year and a half. I've probably been doing that, and I've got a lot of benefit from it. And then in the evening, and meal wise, like I said, I'll go in deeper into diet, but lunch is the easiest part. If you focus on getting a very healthy breakfast and you focus on getting a very healthy dinner, you can be way easier with lunch. Like just grab some veggies, some fruit, and some meat, and keep it simple. In the evening, my goal is to have at least 4 days a week to have some form of movement. in my evening. So that movement might mean going to the CrossFit gym. It might mean working out here in the basement or outside. It might mean going up to the street and sprinting and getting some sprints in. I might go ride my mountain bike. I might go ride my dirt bike. It doesn't matter what the goal is movement. I just think people need to move more. And if you're finding things to do that you're moving, you'll be a lot more healthy. Now I go way further with it on the workout side, and I'll go through all that with you guys in a future session on the training aspect. But just get an hour worth of movement in your evenings. So kind of reviewing that, I think if you can just be a little bit selfish with your time, make yourself a priority to put a plan together. Make sure you get some form of down regulation in the day. Make sure you get your healthy meals in, and make sure you get your movement in the evening. I think it can make a huge difference. What else? Anybody have any questions out there? I saw a lot of them that just said hi. Like I said, I'm going to go in a lot more in depth on the other 3 sessions in the future. But for now, I wanted to give you that kind of sense of how I structure things and start sharing some information with you. So I'll post this and be able to put some links on there, of apps I use and methods that I use. All right. Basically, it's just going to be information to help. I don't have to be over 40, and I'm sure it can help anybody. But personally, I look at it like an equation. So if you look at that pyramid, those are pieces of the equation. I spent a bunch of years just focusing on the fitness piece of the equation. And man, no matter how much effort I put in, the harder I tried to train, the smarter I tried to train, all of that, I hit a wall. And if you want to be able to continue to be more fit every year, you got to search out some new areas of improvement. It's not all going to be in the training. And so that's where I started researching. The diet came first, and really hammering the diet, hitting that, trying to get as good at that as you can. And then you realize that you're going to hit a wall with that too. And that's when I looked into the down regulation side. In the last year, I cannot stress to you enough how much benefit I've got out of learning how to down regulate and get extremely high quality sleep, and the meditation piece. So Angie asked a question, how much sleep do you normally get at night? So I'm going to actually show you guys, when we go through the down regulation side, I'll show you guys what I do, what I've found that helps me to work on this. I will do some meditation, box breathing right before I go to sleep, no more than 10 minutes. And I do some magnesium supplementation, which I'll share with you. And then I track everything, which I think is really important. So I wear a smartwatch. I think a lot of people do. And then the data that you get out of that is really fascinating. So like for me, the sleep thing is a really good question and extremely important. So if you guys probably can't see that, but that was the sleep recorded last night, I believe. And that's 8.5 hours of sleep. Went to bed at 9:59, got up at 6:24. And of that 8.5 hours, this is the really important part. It's not how many hours I slept. The really important part is that it was 5 hours and 18 minutes of deep sleep, 3 hours of light sleep, and 4 minutes of movement. That 4 to 5 hours of deep sleep, if you can get that when you wake up, that's when you feel awesome. And you're ready for the day. And also, you'll have a lot less injuries. So great question. Tim asked about supplements. It's really a great question, Tim, because I didn't plan on covering it in the diet aspect, but it really should fit in there. So I take a salt supplement first thing in the morning. You'll hear it called Soleil. I drink a little bit of that. I'll post some links for that. Very first thing I do, big glass of water and a little Soleil. I take the magnesium before I go to bed. I take a whey protein, typically right after I train, or if there's a meal right after I train, then I'll throw that supplement in some other time between meals, but but a whey protein. And then I'll cycle creatine once in a while based on how hard I want to train. If I know I have a big block that I want to train for a while really hard, maybe do some 2-a-days where I'll go to the climbing gym in the morning and do CrossFit in the evening, and I'll throw creatine in there too. But usually it's just whey protein and then the other two for stress and sleep. So good question. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. It's was that 17 minutes of me talking and rambling. I hope it's valuable for you. Like I said, there'll be 3 more of these that I'll go into a lot more depth on the different areas that I get some benefit from. So hope everybody's good, and I hope that you got something out of this. Take care.